Hello, guys. I hope all of us are fine and everything. I'm here again. Just um, today's video is motivated by what I was listening on the radio. Yeah, on my way from work, I was playing a radio, and after listening to the topic that they had a radio, and I had to at least share my views or my point based on what the guys were talking about. The topic, it was more of the higher education system, which is our varsity level. Yeah, more where we're talking about our technicals, our EFTs, our what do you call them now? University of Technology, like your UCT, which is your universities. Yeah. For someone that has been there, someone that hey, who has a little bit of experience there. I know we also grade each other based on if you did EFT, you're not on the same level with University of Technology. If you're in the University of Technology, you didn't do when it's the actual university or stuff like that. But that's not the point of today, Abo. Today, I'm firstly going to talk about the points that the professors and these guys, you can I don't know what you call them, that we're talking about. Yeah, they've mentioned the point that you get more women doing soft skill qualifications, which is your education level, your human resources, your business. What to them they refer that as the soft skill, which is not really needed out there much, but it is a skill that one needs to acquire. And then they say that the majority of people that are doing like hard skills, like the economic wanted skills, which is your computer science, which is your technology education, like your electronic, your engineering, and all those guys. Then they even mentioned like I forgot that thing. It's called artistic or something like that. That is also part of an education, a skill that is actually needed by economy. Yeah, that's one point they pointed out. Yeah, that's actually what I remember. And they also pointed out that you get more blacks, like more black people graduating more than white people. Like these are the institutions. You understand that? And then another point that they pointed out is there's more white people getting jobs than the black people, which also the opposite of what we just mentioned now. And then there's another thing that interested me was as they were explaining, I here I have no basis, I have no understanding, I have no knowledge of what I'm about to talk about now, which is some rural student special programs. So I'm basically gonna try and talk about those points. I'm not going to go into them in chronological order that as I read them out here, because what interests me most is that they're saying that there's more black people going to these schools, So my understanding is since the black society is the majority of this country, it should be an obvious case that the majority of people attending would be the majority race. And another thing that I would like to rectify and clarify according to the South African Constitution or whatever the rules that they put on when we refer to black in South Africa, any non-white individuals are black people. So let us not try and distinguish when you say we're talking about blacks and then if you colored or Indian, you feel as if I'm excluding you. No, you are counted as part of the blacks, which was also one of the cases. I like to joke about this most of the time that in South Africa, if even Chinese are black people, So before I carry on and say anything furthermore, anything, we just need to understand that when we talk about black, we refer to that. So the point of having more blacks graduating than whites, to me, it makes sense, because we, the majority of the country itself. You understand that? Leave alone that we also have white people that are part of it. Obviously, we're gonna get more opportunities, or we're gonna get more chances. I don't know what you call. I don't. It's not an opportunity to go to school. I don't know what you call it, right? And the fact that I also noted out this thing of where they say more women go into a soft skill, like the soft skills, and men go to more into the hard skills, your engineering and all of that. I mean, it's an obvious thing. We've also been looking at that and all of that. But the reason why I also marked it up as something I want to talk about is the lady suggested that they need to change the education system. You know, maybe they're not doing good enough on the education system such that women can be more interested in doing hard skills. My question was, what is it that they need to do after this entire? Because in our system, when we started on the system, our parents, they kept on saying that we doing things a little bit different. We like things easy, right? Which they were doing long divisions and long methods. So when we entered in life, when we, in the education system, we came back and said, no, we're still doing your old divisions and old methods, but now they introduced an easier and shorter way of coming up with answers and everything than to do the entire calculations and all of that. And then after our generations of school, I don't know the mess that education system is done. But now, to me, that brought some interest and it gave me some interesting perspective. What is it that they want to do with the education system now to accommodate women to go and choose hard skills? Are they going to force them to do hard skills? What? That was my interest. I was interested to know what the hell, you know? But at the end of the day, it's not a good thing to just have a criticistic mindset and not to have a solution on the other hand. So I was thinking, as I was having these points and everything, I thought to myself, have they ever considered that the reason why women choose soft skills and men choose hard skills, it's our communities, it's our society that we live amongst in. How about educate communities to not discriminate? I don't want to say we discriminate because this thing of, I don't want to use the words of discriminating, racism, and all those things, the things that are dividing people. How about educating the system, or how about educating the community itself, that we raise kids who are so interested in trying new things, raise kids that understand that women and men are on the same path? How do you achieve that and all of that? If in the house you've got mommy and daddy should be on the same level. Mommy shouldn't be less than daddy. Daddy shouldn't be higher than mommy. Then from there, maybe we might achieve a bit of that. Second of all, just because that daddy's dead, he's done hard skills and mommy has done soft skills, we shouldn't make that as a normal thing. My baby, if your baby girl has the need and is interested in going further, teach them to be curious. Teach them to understand, like break the stuff. Instead of fighting with the kid, tell them, listen, can you try and reassemble it? Without fighting, without being angry and all over that. So that's where my view of highlighting that point of having women doing soft skills and men doing hard skills, that's why I noted it out, because to me, it looked as if that they are looking for another excuse to make the education system even more weak and lighter. But anyway, I'm not concluding. I'm just sharing my view. People are welcome to criticize, or you're welcome to beat me, kick me, and all of that, as much as you're doing it online and all of that, because I'm not going to talk about that. Yeah, we spoke about, and then the fact that there's one point where they talking about more white people getting more jobs than black people. To me, I saw that, okay, I understand in South Africa that's the thing, that's the norm. We, if I can't get the solution, if I don't understand how to solve the problem, I pull the race card. You understand? And this goes in both sides. We might say that black people do that. We might say that white people do. White people, when they don't understand this, they say, "Okay, you're gonna call us racist." But the racism card has been playing around a lot. People that know me personally and all of that, they'll tell you guys, racism, not my topic. I'll tell you something very offensive and something that you think is very racist, and it was in my head. It's not like that. I didn't grow up understanding black and white. I understood that my parents told me that any white person that treats you like crap, fight back. Actually, they didn't even specify color. They told me anyone that treats you like shit, fight back. That's it. So the thing of black, white, and everything, I'm not going to go into that, but we're going to go to the fact that more white people get more, they get more opportunities than black people. Firstly, um, besides what they mentioned that more black people graduate than white people, I had a question to myself. When have I ever seen a white person go to a graduation? Which white person that I know of that graduated before they got the job? There's very few that I can point out, but I know for a fact. Sorry, my guys, if you're not in the list, you're not in the list. Don't put yourself into the list. Yeah, but I know for a fact that is the system. That is how they help one another. This doesn't just only work with white people. We also, as black people, do the same thing. I, for one, tell you, if I had a company, if I had a choice or any chance, I can get my little brother moving while he's busy studying, I'll push him in. But we have a deal, me and him, that listen, carry on with studying, but come and gain experience on my side of the world. That is the perspective I'm looking at it, right? And now, my understanding, the majority of companies in South Africa are white owned, right? We as black people are still trying into a process of trying to also be part of the job creators on the private side without fronting, because we understand there's a lot of black companies, whereas we know at the back there's a white dude. Fine, and then they introduce BEE to stop calling it fronting, but that's my take into that, But when they pointed that out, I just wanted to take out the race card out. Let us not look at it as in black and white. Let us understand the majority of companies, majority of private companies, because I promise you, if you can go to the government institution and see how white people have been treated on that side, you'd feel the opposite. Because that's government-owned companies. Government-owned companies, they want to make sure those who are in the government-owned companies, they feel the struggle of those in the private companies. That's how it is. That's why I'm saying it's not a race cut. It's just how it is. It's either you go on the other side or you go on the other side, right? Fine. And the last point that I mentioned was the Rural Student Special Program. I mentioned I know nothing of it, and I'm not going to pretend and act as if I know something. First of all, I took offense into that. Just because I studied in a city gives me an advantage over a student that studied in the rural areas. What does that have to do with education? I for one, I studied in both sides of the world. I saw no difference. I studied in the rural areas. I went into the city, went back to the rural area, went back to the city. I was up and down doing all of this. I never thought being a student in the rural areas, it would require me to have a special program. Since when being from the rural areas has ever been a disability? Because the fact that I need a special program, meaning that there's something disabled about me, or there's something that is lacking out of my knowledge. Meaning that our education system understands that if I'm from the city, I've got a better education than the ones in the rural areas. Meaning that our education system understands that they give the city students better education than the rural students. But now, again, into my head, I was thinking to myself, now, we were talking about the higher education level here, which is your universities, your technicons, and all of that. Who are we talking about now? Are we going to point up because what's this MMNU? It's in the east. Is it the rural area? No, it's a metro city. Wusu, it's somewhere around that. I don't want to lie. I don't know where. I know it's in somewhere Mthatha. Walter, it's some dangerous area I don't want to go to. My buddies are from there and all of that. We cool. I don't want to lie. But there, is it a rural? Are we getting them as rural students? Yeah. Who are we talking about here? The EFTs. Who are these guys? Who? So, and then again, why would you introduce a rural education system to me, knowing that I don't need it, I don't deserve it? Or did you as an education system had a plan that immediately that I come from the Eastern Cape, I would not look for school in the cities. I'll remain within the rural areas, and then now I'm regarded as a rural student. So now that means that even when I get a job, I need to look for a rural job. Because I was listening to the entire conversation, they were saying that there are some educated kids who go and work in the rural companies. My understanding, what is a rural company? I never thought there was such a term. I never used. To me, I for one, that is one. I wasn't going to write about all of this, but that the last point that I'm talking about is the one that pissed me off. Since when now, being from the rural area has ever made you a disability? Has ever made you stupid? Because based on my understanding, the most people that are hitting records and everything here, on them, it's still the guys from the east, or not from the east actually, from these so-called rural areas. Who do you compare them against then if that's the case? That means probably there's a list of rural students and then academic, and then there's like metro, if I don't know whatever you flip and call them, is it metros or big cities or whatever you want to call those people. But my understanding is the fact that you guys as in the education system are still going to treat us like dummies, like we can't do stuff our own. We're going to continue bothering you. We're going to continue pushing the strikes and all these things that makes no sense to anyone. Why? First of all, you guys are trying to spoon feed us and you're feeding us the wrong food. It would have been better if you spoon feed me with some right food. You spoon feed me with wrong food. You tell me to be lazy. And then when I'm being lazy, you tell me, listen, don't worry, I'll give you a wheelchair. You don't say I must work for the wheelchair, I must do it. You just tell me you'll give me the wheelchair and I must ride on it. As you're telling me I must ride on that wheelchair, you're not telling me that I need gloves to ride that wheelchair so that I don't hurt my hands. Then when I hurt my hands, you tell me, how can you not have mentality of thinking that you need to buy gloves? Remember, you took away my brain by the first time of telling me, listen, don't worry, be lazy. Get 30-something percent, 36% or some shit like that. Get 36% of your brain and you will qualify to be whatever you want to be. And then when I get into the top, you guys tell me on the top, why did you pass on 36? And then now I'm like, what do you mean? Because you asked me to pass on 36%. Now you're telling me that 36% is not enough to get into university. Again, you're telling me, listen, I'm telling you, fine. Since you wanted university, you thought university is cool, I can give you that. Let me take you to the EFTs. Again, on the EFTs, you still calculate some scores for me and all of that. And then as you calculate the scores, you tell me, listen, your scores are not good enough for this module and this and this and this and this. You told me to do science and mathematics so that I can get better grades, but yet again you tell me 36% is good enough. I do this math and science that you require of me, but again I did it and then I just made sure I do 37% of my abilities. Not my full ability, not nothing, I just do what is required. Now, when I'm on the EFT, you tell me, no, blah, 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 there's some light skills. Do some light skills. I do this thing, complete this thing now, I need to look for a job. can't give me a job. Why? You did an irrelevant course. You took an irrelevant skill. Whose fault is that? Is it mine? Yes, it's my fault. Why? I chose a relevant skill, but who forced me to do all this? Who gave me this route of going that way? Listen here, Department of Education, our education system, our leaders, our grandparents, these people who are in charge of making these decisions. Stop spoon feeding us. First of all, our fellow friends and our brothers and all of that, they are spoiling their kids because of you people. Because now you tell them, nah, your kids are soft and doing that. It's your kid. I raised you tough. You didn't raise them tough. If you raised them tough, they could have raised their kids tough. We are here sitting here. I can count the number of few people that I know. They came from these so-called rural areas that people is talking about. They came into some danger, very, very hectic situations. And they made it in life. And some made it without guidance of anyone. They just sat and watched people working hard and they gained experience into that. I'm not going to talk about the constitution and everything that people are putting down, that no corporal punishment and all of that. I don't care. My house, my rules, my place, my kid, my blood, my understanding. I'm not going to raise a lazy kid. So any brother out there that grew up with me and everything that understands me, I know you've got some people that want you to raise your kids soft. Don't. Let us be the first people to come up with a better generation. Let us defeat what our parents are trying to create. Our parents are creating a soft society, and they're going to blame it on us because we're going to be the parents at a later stage. They're going to tell us, listen, it's your kids that are being soft. It's your kids that are destroying this country because you guys are like that. But anyway, I'm not there. That's my views. That's what I think. I really needed to just get it off my chest. Um, Hopefully that I'll listen to some other story again and maybe have some opinion. I'm looking forward to hear from the guys and what they think and what they say and all of that. Anyways, have a good night. I'm probably gonna have mine. I don't know. Peace.